beautiful people out there, and thank you for being here on my channel, Linda Summers Life. If you're new, welcome, and if you're coming back, thank you for coming back. And today's video is going to be on ways to achieve spirituality. My ways that I started off with it and I still continue to use to this day of starting my spirituality journey, and then also just maintaining that peacefulness within inside of me with these ways. And there, of course, there's a lot of other ways, but these are just the 7 ways, which it's actually 6 for me. I threw in the 7th, and I'll explain why. But these are some of the ways that I really felt were important for people that are just starting their spiritual journey to begin with. But before I go into those ways, I wanted to do this on my last video, which was what is spirituality. And if you haven't checked it out, make sure you check it out, in all my videos actually. But I wanted to mention this: what is the distinction between religion and spirituality? Because I've had a lot of people in my life ask me, so what's the difference between religion and spirituality? And I thought, good question. So I should probably, give my perception of what I feel the difference between religion and spirituality is. So for me, religion is more organized, and spirituality is more freedom. And so if you can look at religion like a football game, in a football game you have players, you have markers, and you have rules. And if you don't abide by the rules, then you're somewhat penalized. Well, not actually somewhat penalized. In football, you are penalized because if you don't follow by the rules. In spirituality, you're the only player. And so you have no rules. And so you are able to take the different routes that you need to take. And there are no markers, there's no other players. And so you have that freedom. And so that's how I look at the difference. And also I feel that spirituality is connecting to yourself. It's connecting to that God self within you to get to know who you are. And with religion and spirituality, the foundation is still Creator. It's still God, our source. That has not changed. So even though I find the distinction, one more organized and one more freedom, there's still that foundation of God. So I just wanted to get that out there because I meant to do it on the last video and I totally forgot. So that's my distinction between religion and spirituality. So with that being said, now I'm going to go into the ways that I feel have helped me on my journey of spirituality. And the first one being nature. Nature to me is, and I need to do more of this, I don't do a lot of it, I need to really do more. Nature is, you are connecting to source, all that is. And if you can walk on the ground, walk on the beach, barefooted, to absorb the energy of Mother Earth, for one, it's very healing, and you're soaking up all that beautiful energy from the earth. And so if you haven't heard of earthing, you can check out earthing, which is really phenomenal. And so, just being under a tree, or being on a hike, or being on a walk, or just sitting at the beach, whatever that is for you, to really be out there and soak up all that beautiful source energy. And instead of, like, if you're on your hike and you're just pounding the trail just to get to somewhere, right? It's not the destination, it's the journey along the way. And so which there's a movie, a really good movie, and I'll talk a little bit about that too, Dan Millman, when he was going to take him to the top of the mountain. If you haven't seen the movie Peaceful Warrior, check it out. It's a fabulous movie, and I'm going to reference that throughout these ways that I have come into my own spirituality that have helped me. And so, when he gets to the top, he's like, so what is there? And he's like, well, don't you see? And he's like, no. And he goes, well, how were you on the way up here? And he goes, I was really excited. And he goes, that's what it's all about. It's not about the destination to arrive. And he had him pick up a rock, but, and he's like, so this is just a rock, but it's more than that, right? He was expecting something, and we always are. When we reach the destination, we're like, all right, I'm here. And it's like, okay, now what do I do? So it's really that journey and not the destination. So instead of pounding the road, and doing whatever, really take the time to be with yourself, because in that time that you can connect with yourself, you can start to hear the voice of God, which I call, and there's 2 voices that you can hear. That, again, this is all about my perception, And, the one voice, which I consider the God voice, is very soft, and it's this getting ideas or the next step or just this soft voice. And the other voice that sometimes that I can hear is, what are you doing this for? This is so stupid. This is such a waste of time. Why are we here? And so that's your ego. And so that's how you can distinguish really a decision. But with that being said, it's always best to go from the heart on a decision, on anything, really. It's to come from the heart. But I feel that these voices, because we hear voices, like I said in my one video, go this way, go that way, or, things like that. So, again, for me, this has helped me in my journey and being able to distinguish between those voices, because in my early part of my journey, I was listening to a lot of this voice that you're not good enough, you're a failure, you're not going to make it, what are you doing this for? Remember what happened last time? And so I had to really learn this distinction. So when you're out in nature, you might hear these voices, you might get ideas for your next project, you might get to call someone, you might get to go somewhere else when you're out, and that you may run into someone. You never know what the universe has planned for you. So my first one is nature. So important to connect to Creator. You will be surprised at the magic that happens out in nature. And so the next one is meditation. And so I love meditation. I would meditate all day long if time permitted. And so there are lots of different ways to meditate. There's guided meditation, there's music meditation, there's mantra meditation, there's breath meditation, and I've tried all of those. And for me, I find I do listen to some music, not necessarily guided meditation. Sometimes I will, very rare. I will listen to music, but for the most part, I will just have nothing, like just be really silent, and I'll hone in on my breath. Because when I first started my meditation, my teacher was like, you're going to get a lot of thoughts up there, because our mind is I think it was like 10,000 thoughts going on daily. And so that's a lot of thoughts. I'm like, dang, when you think about it, if you had to count every thought, which I would not spend the time to do that, but 10,000 thoughts is a lot of thoughts. And so when you're trying to be in meditation, you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to meditate? And so with all these thoughts, I can't sit still. That's another, I'll get to that too. So he said, look at the thought as a cloud just passing by. And so every time a thought comes, just let it pass by. And sometimes we have a thought, it's like, you need to go to the grocery store, don't forget to get milk, And it's like, oh yeah, I gotta make sure I write that down on my list. And then you're taking yourself out, you know what I mean? So it's like, think the thought, let the thought go, and if you can't let it go, always just come back to your voice, or to your breath. And so if you can find something boring to listen to, like a fan or air filter or something like that. I have an air filter that runs all the time, and so sometimes I'll hone into that, or sometimes I'll hone into my fan if I'm laying and doing a meditation, just letting all the nerves in my body, to my nervous system, to relax. I'll do that as well, and so I just hone into that and just kind of go into a laying down sort of meditation. But meditation, you guys, has helped me come to this place of peace during the hardest times in my life, that I just being with myself. And at first it was really hard, because I went coming from a long relationships, right, and now I'm on my own, and being with that person for so long, that it was odd to be by myself. And so but it was when I was alone that I found my greatest strength, and I was able to become stronger. And it gave me, it just really helped me out. It helped me go into myself and figure my own life out, as opposed to trying to go to somebody else that may or may not have helped. But is when you're alone is when you can find so much out about yourself, because you're with yourself and you're talking to yourself. And so and a lot of people, it's hard for them to sit still. They're wants to be busy because they're afraid to feel. They're afraid to be alone and just sit there. And I'm telling you, if you try this, it will change your life. Even if you tried it for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, works for 5, go to 10, 10, 15, 15 to 20, 20 to 25, 25 to 30, 30 to an hour, whatever. If with working and stuff like that, get up extra early or do it before you go to bed at night, which would be really good to do too, because then your whole nervous system is calmed down. And so I can't say enough about meditation. I really have just found it for me being a very peaceful, just like being out in nature, very peaceful, and to find that peaceful place within myself. Not to say that I still don't get a rise out of things in life, I do, but I always will come back to that center and to that place of peace within myself. So meditation is really important. Just find the one that works best for you. The next one is journaling. So journaling is really, really important as well. I don't do enough of it. I probably actually do, because I feel like I'm writing all the time. So I probably do. I just don't do it in a fashion like there's a book called The Artist Way, where she has you get up in the morning and just write down anything just to get all your thoughts down. And in that movie I was telling you, Peaceful Warrior, Socrates, because Dan Millman is actually the character, and Socrates is like this angel that has appeared out of nowhere to guide him on his path, because he knows where his path is headed. And so he tells him, you need to empty out the trash. And you guys, we do. We have so much trash up here, so much stuff that we don't even need up there. You know what I mean? That you just want to get all of that out. Because if you find yourself not being able to sleep at night, journal. Get all the thoughts, everything you have out. Because I know it's sometimes at night, my head is spinning. The wheels are spinning, all these ideas. And I have a pad and paper next to my bed that I just write down whatever I get. But if I would just write down before I go to bed, and do all that, I mean, sometimes I can find myself being, up for 3-4 hours just writing. I'll go back to bed, get up, back to bed, up. I'm constantly up and down just writing. So journaling is so important, just to get out the feelings that we have. It's just a really, really good way to be able to express and write down your ideas, but also write down your feelings. And that's another thing too, is expressing those emotions and those feelings within you, and not keeping that energy in you, and honoring that inner child within you, and allowing that expression of that emotion to be expressed, whatever that is. And so, and in my last video, What is Spirituality, I gave a way that you can be able to do that, the 92 seconds, that you disconnect the thought, because the thought is what keeps us in the suffering. And like Buddha says, suffering is an option. And so if you disconnect the thought from the feeling, it takes 92 seconds and you will come to peace. And this works, because I did it all throughout my life, and in certain situations, a lot of situations that I had gone through to help me come to that place of peace. So journaling is my second one. So very, very, very important. The third one is energy work. And so I have done, oh my gosh, like a lot of energy work. I've been doing energy work, probably over 20 years, maybe 25 years, I guess. And I can't say enough about energy work. I love it. I just think that it's helped me to release a lot of things. It's helped me to tune in with my body. It's helped me to tune in with myself. I think the most thing that it's really helped me to understand the situations that I have had in my life, and because whenever we experience something, it goes into our cells. And whenever those cells regenerate, it regenerates the same experience unless we have cleared that. And so there's so many modalities on energy work that you can experience. And the one I'm talking about is like DNA, or I think it's DNA. I think it's called DNA. It's been a long time. But where they actually clear the cells of old memories. So check into that. But again, there's just so many modalities: singing bowls, color therapy, fascia release, past life regression, chakra healing. Get your chakras in line. That's really important, because we're pretty much blocked. I mean, I found a lot of that my lower half of my chakras were always blocked, and my upper were always open because I was like flying out there like a kite, and never being grounded. And that was something they told me all my life, is like, well, since the last 20 something years, is you need to ground. You need to ground. And I was like, I just like being up here. And they're like, no, you need to ground. So grounding is really important. You really need to keep yourself down here. But energy work is just, it's really helped me through my life. And so I can't say enough about it. And it's really, like I said, helped me release a lot of stuff that was within me. And so that's that one. And then the next one is retreats. So retreats can get costly. I did a lot of those. And I did a lot around in my coaching to expand my consciousness so I could help my clients more, because when I help myself more, I help my clients and everybody else around me more. And so there's so many retreats. Just check into one that feels and resonates. And when you start your spiritual journey and seeking, you will notice that things will pop up on your computer. An ad will pop up. Somebody might be talking about something. Somebody might share a book. So things will start coming into your path that you're just like, oh my gosh, I was just thinking about that. So somebody might mention a retreat, or you might be online looking for something, all of a sudden a retreat comes, you're like, oh, that really resonates with me. So I think retreats are a really good way to come into our own and knowing more about who we are. And like I said in my last video, What is Spirituality? We're love and light. We are truly angels having a human experience, and to bring this earth back to where she belongs. And we're going to be the first human race to ever do that. So there's, like I said, so many retreats. I remember one retreat, and this goes in with meditation, and it goes in with nature, it goes in with all of these that I'm giving you, and expanding outwardly. And it was a retreat where it was the whole weekend, and all I did was moved with my spirit. She met with me in the morning, and she met with me at night, and she made the most delicious meals. I was in this Airstream trailer, and she called it a cocoon, because in the cocoon is when you're developing and you're learning and you're growing and you're experiencing all that you're experiencing. And then once you get out of the cocoon, right, you become this beautiful butterfly. And so she would just make these delicious meals, and I would be like, how? Like, I have never tasted anything that felt so good in my entire life. And she's just like, I just go into the refrigerator and I ask what wants to be used, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's all about the love. Like, there was so much love in this food. But going back to what I was going to tell you, so in this, it was really all about moving with your spirit. There was nothing on an itinerary. You literally would just sit there and just ask yourself, that spirit part of yourself, or you would just really feel it. Basically, wouldn't even ask. You would just feel what felt right to do the next thing. And sometimes she had a huge bed that hung from a tree, that it would be like, I felt like my spirit was saying, you need to go and lay on the bed and just lay there. You need to go and meditate. You need to go and get creative. You need to do that, you need to lay down and just rest and sleep. That was the most magical weekend of my life. It was transforming for me. I got so much out of that. I can't remember the name of it. She has a book, and it was profound. So if you can move with your spirit will guide you on this path of spirituality in life. So, but you have to tune into that, right? And so the only way to get there is being out in nature, meditating, journaling, energy work, going on, doing retreats. And if you can't afford the retreats, don't do the retreats. But just really, you can move with your spirit without having to do any of that. It's just getting quiet and getting centered and listening to that spirit of what feels right to do next. Because sometimes, when I feel like, okay, I'm going to listen to my spirit's like, well, you really should be up getting that, project done. And it's like, oh my God, that's right, I really should. And then I have to wait a minute. I come back to that, and it's like, no, this is where I really need to be, right here, right now. And that's another thing of Dan Millman, is being right here, right now, in this moment, like I'm present with you and you're present with me. It's right here, right now. So retreats are really, really good for you as well. My next one is books. I read so many books. Oh my gosh, I just kept reading, and just couldn't get my hands on enough books. And I had a huge library full of books. And then one day I was like, I don't need those books anymore. But I kept the ones that were foundational for me And then I've added one since then, of course, and since then I've loaned a lot of my books away, and I'm like, oh, I forgot they had those, and so I don't remember who has them now. So some of the books I don't have, but I will be doing a video on that of my books that have really helped me. But there's so many more, you guys. I mean, but I'm going to really give you, if I don't have the books, I'll give you the title of them, that they've really helped me. And there's just so many really good books out there. So I had this huge thing. So I got rid of all those books. And now I had to replenish my library. And so I have a lot of great books. And some of them I have still foundational, but they were really helpful for me. And listening to audios. If you're driving, I'll listen to YouTube channels, Esther Hicks, Eckhart Tolle, Sadhguru. There's so many people that I'll just listen to. And so just to keep my mind, right, and my frequency really high, but to keep my mind in that spirituality mode. And so in constantly growing and evolving and learning more and more and more about life and myself, because we are a part of life. We're a part of the earth. And so, you come from ash, and you come from the dirt, and you will, go back into the dirt. So, so books are really important. And when you start to when you're on this path of seeking out, you may be at a library, a bookstore, and a book may fall off the shelf. You may hear somebody talking about a book. You may be drawn to a certain section. So again, this is moving with your spirit and following that spirit, that wherever your spirit is going to guide you. So that's that one. And the last one is yoga. Now I threw this in there because I love yoga. I don't do enough of it, but I love it. But for me, I didn't do this in my spirituality, starting my path. Excuse me, guys, I gotta drink of water. Talking so much. I really didn't use this when I began my journey, but I feel that it's really good. If you can find a really good class that actually has you connect to source, to the divine, and gives you that spiritual feeling. I feel that when yoga first started, the whole basis of it was to connect to the divine, to source, to God, creator. And I think as time went on, people got more intrigued with the poses, which the poses are great. And I'm not knocking, yoga or anything, because I love yoga. I think it's very beneficial. But again, I think that if you are doing it, it's being mindful. It's being methodical. And really, that's what they're doing. Really, is each move is really methodical, and you're doing it. And when you're doing it, is to be so present with your body, and allowing your body to do these moves, but also that whatever you're feeling within your body is so important as well. So I feel that yoga is a really good way to be able to add that to part of your journey. And again, I would love to do more of it, but more in the sense of being still and not necessarily moves. And I know there's so many different types of yoga out there. There's people that do that type of yoga where you're just sitting there and you're connecting to source. There's people where they do the yoga, but they're doing inspirational things beforehand, and reading these verses, and it's very methodical. So these are just the ways that I feel have really helped me on my spiritual path, and I wanted to gift them to you, because what's happening in the world, and so many people waking up and feeling like there's something missing, or they're wanting to dive in, like, what is spirituality, and diving into that journey that because I've been on this journey that I know of for over 30 years, and I will continue to the day I die. And if I can gift you all something that has really helped me, then I'm doing my job. And that's really what I feel I'm here for, is to help you on your path, whatever that is for you. So thank you for tuning in. If you would like to know more about me, check out my website, lindasummerslife.com. If you're looking to dive deeper into yourself and knowing more about you, I just opened up a new program called Intimacy. I would love to help you on that journey of intimacy as well with yourself with your partner in life. So, because life can be very intimate. And so I would love to guide and help you on that path. So reach out to me. You can also reach out to me at lindaSummers128@gmail. And so thank you again so much for tuning in today. And again, thank you if you're new to my channel. Welcome. If you are coming back to my channel, thank you for coming back. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so you'll be notified when the next video is. So thank you again, all of you. I love all you beautiful people, and I wish you the most amazing and magical day, and just a beautiful, bright path on your spiritual journey. So thank you again for tuning in, and I love you. Mwah! Thank you. Bye.